What's going on, everyone? So, according to Brett Siegel, Giannis and Jalen Brown are names to watch for if the Spurs pull out of their pursuit of Kevin Durant. Now, a couple things about this. One, there have been multiple reports that Spurs are essentially out on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, it's not because they don't want Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's not because if he was available, they wouldn't trade for him. It's more so they have concerns about the assets that they have to give up and selling the farm to go get him, one. And two, they don't believe he's actually going to become available. It's essentially what it boils down to. And I don't even think he necessarily will become available. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't surprise me because I really do think the Milwaukee Bucks are just like in purgatory. Like I don't know how they fix it and get out of it, right? Maybe there's a path. Maybe there's a way. Maybe they figure it out. I just think realistically speaking, it's probably not going to happen. But if Giannis becomes available and the Spurs have a realistic chance of getting him, it would be hard for me to not see them actually go and do it, right? Even if they did have to trade like a Castle and you know the number 2 pick or something like that, as much as I'm sure many Spurs fans would not be fans of that, it'd be really hard to see me not see really hard to see the Spurs, really hard for me to see the Spurs not go and pursue that. There we go. Setting structure is hard. But in all seriousness, right? Like you're talking about the second best player in all of basketball. You're talking about a guy who is one of the, handful of players in the NBA that have proven to be able to carry a team to a championship and win a championship as the best player. There are a lot of incredible players in the NBA. There are very few that have actually been able to win an NBA championship. I mean, even look at the last few years. It's like, LeBron, right? Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Nikola Jokic, Giannis. Right? Like SGA could potentially, or I guess Pascal Siakam, right? Or Halliburton, but Siakam's probably the best player. But you get my point, right? Like there are numerous stars. There are very few players that can actually prove and have proven that they can be the guy to go win a Larry O'Brien trophy, right? So again, it would be hard for me to see the Spurs not go get Giannis if they can. Shams even recently talked about how that the Spurs feel like they are kind of saving and preserving their assets for a bigger player, right? Not just Kevin Durant, like a bigger player. Who would be that bigger player? I don't personally, this is just me. I don't think Jalen Brown is the bigger player. I think Giannis is the bigger player. I think there is this sense of like, does Giannis actually become available? My thought process with that, and we'll touch on Jalen Brown here in a moment, but my thought process with that is like, it depends on what you have to pony up for Kevin Durant. Right? Like, I don't want them to miss out on a good Kevin Durant trade in the hopes that, maybe Giannis becomes available, right? But if you have to overpay for Kevin Durant, then yes, wait for Giannis, right? Like, if you can get a good, reasonable trade for Kevin Durant, then go get Kevin Durant. If Giannis becomes available, figure that out after. Right? I mean, you do whatever you have to do, figure it out. Trade De'Aaron Fox at that point if you have to. Whatever you have to do, you figure it out. Right? And just go Kevin Durant, Wemby, and Giannis if you have to. Right? Whatever you have to do. Right? My point is that like one in the hand is worth two in the bush. If you can get a guy in Kevin Durant with this caliber and what he can do, go do it. But if you have to overpay and it's Jeremy Sohan and it's, multiple firsts and all this other, then it's just like, just be patient, right? You're not in a place of desperation, which is great, right? Spurs aren't in this place of like, we have to go and get a Kevin Durant or Wemby's leaving next year. No, you have plenty of time, right? Like you don't need to rush. Also, you got to keep in mind, if you go trade for a Kevin Durant, you're all in. That's it. Like, you're making other trades, you're making other moves, you're doing whatever you have to do, go win in the next 2 years. because Kevin Durant isn't 28. He's not even 30. Talking about a guy that probably only has 2 or 3 years left in the league. Right? So you can't spend 3 years waiting around and for Wemby and everyone else to fully develop enough to win a championship. No, you have to go try to win it now. Where Giannis, I mean, obviously you'd still want to try to win it now, sooner rather than later. But one, Giannis would be a higher ceiling raiser, so I don't think you'd need as much. Two, you have a little more time, right? It's not something like because there are concerns about Giannis's like decline, but you'd have a little more time. As far as Jaylen Brown goes, I don't hate it, but I don't love it, right? Again, it kind of boils down to like what is the cost of Jaylen Brown, right? Like if you can get my problem with Jaylen Brown primarily is just his contract. The guy's making an insane amount of money for a guy that, I understand he has a Finals MVP and all that stuff, but like let's be honest, like where does he rank in the league? He's a top 25 player. I maybe a top 20 player. I think you can make an argument that he's probably closer to 25 than 20, but right, like maybe even higher. I mean, you probably make an argument top 30. Like you really think about it. But Jaylen Brown is an excellent player. Legit two-way guy, can defend multiple positions, can go get you buckets. Right? Like he would be great to have. Slot in as your 3, right? You'd be probably one of the best defensive teams in basketball. You got a guy that go get buckets. You got a guy that is, not afraid of the moment. But like, you're not talking about a guy that's out there giving you 30 a night. You're talking about a guy as the second option is giving you, 22, 23 a night, and he's making $60 million a year. It's just like, I don't know. It's not my favorite. If they landed Jaylen Brown, I wouldn't hate it. If tomorrow we got news that the Spurs traded for Jaylen Brown, like I'd be stoked, right? Like I'd be like, oh man, it's a great pickup. See how this goes. Still on the right side of 30, right? You'd have time. It kind of fits De'Aaron Fox's timeline. You kind of go make this push now, and then he fades out, Fox fades out, and then now you're kind of retooling around Wemby again, in 6 years or whatever. Okay, fine. But again, it boils down to like how much do you have to give up? Like what do you have to trade? Are you trading more than Kevin Durant to go get him? Probably, given his age, given he has a Finals MVP under his belt, multi-time All-Star, proven champion, right? Like you're probably, I don't imagine Boston's like, yeah, just give us Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and, the 14th pick in a future first. I imagine they're going to want a pretty hefty return, right? I would imagine that you're probably talking all that plus like a Jeremy Sohan plus, maybe another first. I mean, look at a guy like a Desmond Bane and what he went for. Imagine what a guy like Jaylen Brown probably goes for. All right, now, maybe his contract scares some teams away. But then also, what happens when Wemby's ready for his new contract? Because his new contract is going to be around the corner. Now, he's not going to be making $60+ million a year, but, like, still going to be making quite a bit, right? Like, it's just, Jaylen Brown's not my favorite option. I would personally stay away from Jaylen Brown. My concern is that the Spurs' desire for another star outweighs their proven patience and proven, like, look, I see a lot of people that are like, that's not the Spurs way. That's not the Spurs way. That's not Spurs way hasn't been the Spurs way for a long time now, right? Like Spurs are they're not the team, and they can't be with the new NBA, with the new CBA and everything, and just the way that the league is. The Spurs can't be the team that they were 20 years ago, right? But I want to see kind of this balance from them. My concern is that do they feel more desperate than they really are, or feel more of this pressure than they really need to feel? That's where my concern lies. And I hope that that's not the case. I hope the Spurs understand, like, hey, you have a lot of time. Be patient, let things develop, let things come into their own, and take it from there, right? Like, again, if you can get one of these guys at the right price, go get him at the right price. But it's not something you have to do, you have to get done. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else not, so we enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.